We could use our greatest power, or we could face the end of humanity on this planet. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I work together with an interdimensional, interuniversal, and extraterrestrial force known as Telstar, along with Archangel Michael. As you may know, the controllers of this planet are having one of their famous meetings on top of their snow-covered mountain, where they are discussing many of their diabolical plans. And I'm going to talk more about that later in this video. But I want to start by talking about our greatest power as human beings here on this earth. I want to offer you a simple analogy in nature to help you understand how this works. Let's take the example of a simple seed planted in the ground. A seed has within it the creative force of male and female energies. It is a highly motivated entity full of life force with a powerful will to reach the light. A seed doesn't sit there wondering what it is. It doesn't say that those male and female energies are discriminatory and offensive, and therefore they shouldn't be allowed. It doesn't wonder if it has disinformation inside of its own DNA. A seed doesn't sit in the dark wondering what it should identify as and wondering if it was created wrongly. No, actually, a seed simply responds to its basic nature and seeks the light of the sun. It takes nourishment from the soil and doesn't ask if that nourishment is carbon-based and bad for the planet. A simple seed has no such worries because seeds don't watch the media. They don't have to deal with propaganda and social media. Fortunately, seeds don't even know that such things exist. Seeds also don't know that according to humans, they should be questioning the very nature of their existence. They don't know that they should see themselves as insecure, irrelevant, and bad for the planet. Seeds aren't told that they're bad from the very day they're born. They aren't told that they need to be educated and rehabilitated because everything they thought was natural is actually wrong. So, how does a seed manage to exist without all of these burdens? Well, it's simple. A seed is one-pointed and focused. It has one simple mandate. Just keep pushing forward until you reach the light. A seed lives in a perpetual state of evolution, and that's where it gains its power. A tiny seed can evolve into a massive tree that supports multiple life forms on this planet in countless ways. This is how the seed ultimately fulfills its purpose. Now, we humans, on the other hand, have quite a different story. We are very insecure and easily distracted. We are basically contaminated with multiple and very destructive beliefs. You know, it's so funny that the controllers are so worried about so-called disinformation, but they're only worried about the disinformation on the internet. You want to know where the real disinformation lies? It lies in our own bodies and minds. We have been told so many lies about ourselves that we can barely see a shred of daylight any longer. Think of yourself as a being that houses information. Your entire existence is filled with information of all kinds. But see, That information is supposed to be highly coordinated and in harmony with the larger universe of which we are all a part. That information is supposed to support our ability to evolve and create because it's in alignment with those capabilities. But that is not the case here on Earth. We are so contaminated with false information about what it means to be human that we spend our entire lives trying to get out from under it, trying to cope with it and accommodate it. So we suffer from a very serious and possibly fatal information malady. It's like if you had a very expensive car that was designed to run beautifully and somebody snuck into your garage and poured sticky goop all throughout the engine. That car is going to sputter and spurt and probably not go very far, if at all. That's kind of what's happened to us. The controllers and their society pour fear-based information into our consciousness from the day that we are born. And fear-based information is very sticky. It's hard to shake off. It's like trauma. That stuff can stick to you and slow you down for an entire lifetime. Just like my expensive car example. That stuff will cause you to go through life sputtering, stalling, and failing multiple times over until you don't know how to believe in yourself anymore. And then you might just want to give up and quit trying. So what we need to do is to clear out the massive amounts of disinformation and misinformation that has basically saturated our consciousness. Otherwise, we're like a bunch of deformed seeds that cannot grow. It's deformed thinking to believe all of the junk that we've been told all our lives, so much of which is negative. Now, I could go over what a lot of that junk thinking is comprised of, but I want to suggest that you make your own list. Get some paper and make a list of all of the bogus nonsense that you've been told throughout your life, but yet you know in your heart isn't true. This nonsense could have come from unsupportive parents or family members. It could have come from school or religion. It could have come from your social circle or lack thereof. How about movies and TV? And now we have the internet, where propaganda and lies can be pumped into our brains all day long. And the most unfortunate part is that society is structured in such a way as to embrace those who believe these lies and reject those who don't. Now, if you go ahead and make that list for yourself, let your heart be the judge of what is true and what isn't true. Keep the ego out of the conversation because the ego is probably very attached to many of those lies and to that disinformation. Now, once you've made your list, you will have a clear picture of what you need to clear out of your system in order to get back on a clear path of evolution. You will begin to see the sticky goop that the controllers have infiltrated your consciousness with. And the reason that this disinformation can come from many different sources, including family members, is because so many people have been programmed with this disinformation, and they will just keep bouncing off each other, sharing it back and forth, and that's how it gets projected onto you. So all of that sticky goop that starts with the controllers, it's all designed to prevent your evolution. So your greatest power is what naturally underlies all of this sticky goop and misinformation. It's the you that never dies. It's the you who is a creator and has the power to manifest. This is the power that we need to unleash on this planet if we are to continue on as an evolving species. Now, I want to talk a bit about why these controllers are so desperate to keep us from evolving. Well, it's because they're not very bright and they can't afford for us to notice that. See, if we remove all of their garbage from our consciousness, we're suddenly going to see some light again. And that light is going to illuminate all of the things that we have going for us that they don't. They don't have any light. And that's why their ideas are so stupid. If they can make us stupider than they are, then maybe we'll think they're smart. Right now, they are trying to make us really, really dumb. They want us to swallow some absolutely amazing medicine of sheer ignorance. They want us to be so stupid that we will do the dumbest things imaginable, like eat bugs to save the earth, or eat weeds, or get rid of our pets because they're bad for the planet, or stay far away from each other because we believe that people who breathe are dangerous. And also that we can become a hero by covering our faces with cloth and ingesting our own breathing waste. And then, of course, there's the sharp things that we're not supposed to talk about. They want us to be so dumb that we'll believe that men are really women and that women don't actually exist, which basically erases everyone, of course. They want us to be so dumb that we'll believe that doctors should be trusted with our lives, yet these same doctors are so stupid that they just don't know what sex we are when we're born. That's just too hard. They want us to believe that these doctors can't even pass the most animalistic of tests, yet somehow they get to graduate from medical school. They want us to believe that only teachers in school know what sex we are. They are the real experts, not us, not doctors, and certainly not parents. Heck, according to the controllers, even God got this wrong. I mean, God really screwed this up. Look at all the people he made the wrong sex. We're finding more and more and more of them every single day. I mean, they're everywhere. Can you believe it? I mean, this is a divine catastrophe. We are finally discovering what a failure God really is. It's so sad. I mean, this is why God invented teachers, so we would all know who to look to find out our true gender. The genders that God messed up when he gave us all the wrong bodies. Good grief. I mean, no wonder we have to chop off so many body parts. Somebody's got to correct what God got so terribly wrong, right? Right? Now, as you probably know, these crazy madcap controllers are currently having a not-so-secret meeting on top of a snowy mountain in a place called Switzerland. This is an important meeting where they brainstorm more of the stupid things that they want us to do. They gather under a certain banner that I like to call the Weffers. The Weffers are led by this guy, who I like to call KS or Mr. Dinosaur. Now, I was very fortunate to get some secret footage from an insider that shows the Weffers on their way to this very important meeting. There are all kinds of world leaders, corporate executives, and all around very important creatures. I mean, people. People. Let's take a look. Here's KS greeting some of his favorite Weffers at the airport. Now, good old KS, Mr. Dinosaur in Chief, gave an opening speech with a rather ominous pronouncement. He said that one of the gravest challenges that the Weffers face is disinformation. I think he's really worried that we might actually discover all of the disinformation that the controllers have planted in our bodies and minds for literally eons of time. This is what I mean when I say that these controllers are so stupid on a cosmic level. This guy is actually drawing our attention to the massive pile of disinformation that they have planted within us. But he's pretending that we are the ones with the disinformation. Guys, that's a pretty lame little decoy he's trying to use. Check out this photo of KS. He looks pretty worried to me. But fortunately, just to make poor old KS feel better, John Kerry, remember him? Remember John Kerry? He came to the rescue. He reminded Mr. Dinosaur that the Weffers are a special group of people who were selected at an extraterrestrial level to save the planet. Seriously, he actually said that. He even admitted that it sounded crazy, but that it was the truth nonetheless. I mean, they're even openly saying that there's some extraterrestrial thing that's touched them and is making them do all this stuff. They're actually saying that. Okay, so next up, we have good old Al Gore, who came in to give everyone a motivational pep talk about why they need to save the planet. He had some real zingers. Did you guys see that? Yep, he really said those things. He actually said those exact words and a whole lot more. Do you see why I say that these Weffers are crazy? Now, I'm putting a lot of humor into this video because I think that we need to mentally shrink these controllers down to their actual size, because they usually try to appear much larger than they actually are in reality. It's kind of like those notices you see. They should display one of those signs at their Weffers meeting. It could say, "People here may appear to be much larger than their actual size." And you can also tell they're stupid because they act so amazed at their own ridiculous plans. I mean, these guys have no perspective at all about their true place in this universe. It's like I always say, they have no power of their own. They have been using humanity for thousands of years to create their dumb scheme because they can't do it themselves. The reason they lie so much is because if they were truthful, no one in their right mind would ever buy this stupid planetary plan of theirs. So now I have a little story for you about how they plan to reinvent planet Earth. And after you watch this, then I will tell you why I made it. Okay, so the Weiferator, as funny as it sounds, represents the invisible planetary machine that these controllers are placing over the Earth. It consists of propaganda, lies, rules, intimidation, and bizarre stories about what is going on here. It's kind of like a mind virus. It feeds on fear. It feeds on ignorance and unconsciousness. It spreads throughout the internet, and it's held in place by corrupt individuals and politicians who enforce the rules of the Weiferator. You can think of it as being like an invisible overlay on the planet. It basically represents their blueprint for how they intend to reinvent this planet along with everything and everyone on it. It's the physical manifestation of how they intend to bring their vision into fruition. Now, I drew the Weiferator like a goofy, jalopy type of thing and gave it a silly name because that's how ridiculous it is. That doesn't mean that it won't work or that it doesn't have the ability to manifest. Whether or not it will work for them really depends on us. It depends on to what degree humanity can see it. The problem is that most of humanity sees the Weiferator as reality. They don't understand that it's just a dumb invention by a bunch of reptiles who only know how to use dumbed down, primitive means to get what they want. Let me share something interesting with you. They won't even go near a planet who sees through this stuff because they know that when it becomes visible to people who have their natural cosmic bearings, they are done. In that case, they can't even get this thing started. So they attack weakness, cosmic insecurity, and unconsciousness, because that's what gives them the upper hand. Now, this Weffers meeting on the snowy mountain, and I'm talking about the real one, not the cartoon. This meeting is really exposing them as the remedial creatures that they are. I mean, John Kerry looks so foolish, being so amazed at the idea of an extraterrestrial perspective about the Earth. Like, wow, he thinks they're the first ones to ever think of such a thing. I listened to some clips of some of their speeches, and they sound like such children. They sound like a bunch of weird kids playing house on a planetary level. They're just so amazed with themselves. They're sitting there saying things like, wow, pretty soon we're all going to have chips in our brains. It's really important that we understand how clueless and how ignorant they really are. So really, this video is all about perspective. It's about making a paradigm shift in how we see all of this. Because if we continue to see them as leaders of any kind, then we diminish ourselves and our true capabilities. They are pretend leaders. That's all they are. Their entire situation is one giant game of let's pretend. Let's pretend we're special. Let's pretend we're in charge. And let's pretend we own the planet. Yay! The fact that so many people are playing along with this is the reason that they are getting away with this in the way that they are. Now, I don't want to diminish the impact that they are having in everyone's life, because that impact is huge and it's highly negative. But we can't do anything about it unless we change our perspective metaphysically. We need to start with what I will call a perspective adjustment. Think for a moment about the magnitude of this relatively tiny planet Earth. Think about the sheer size of this vessel compared to our human selves. Think about the amazing, unfathomable complexity of all of this planet's ecosystems. And then think about the perfection with which it's all so beautifully harmonized. These reptiles have no idea how to deal with any of that. So their idea is just to suppress it or crush it if necessary. And they also want to ruin humanity, whose real purpose is to evolve and to innovate in a way that benefits the earth. Because, see, they don't like people in the room who are better and smarter than they are. They also have no idea about how to deal with the power of the sun and how it activates all of the life cycles on this planet. I mean, their stupid answer is to block out the sun by spraying white goop out of airplanes all over the sky. Do you see how ridiculous that looks? And because they're so ignorant, they always trash the place. They trash the oceans, the forests, and basically all of life here. And then they tell us that we're the ones who are bad, and they blame it all on us. It's kind of like an abusive parent who says to the kid, "Well, you just made me do it." Their current position now is that we are so bad that we don't even deserve to be here. That's their excuse for abusing us and trying to turn us into AI synthetic cyborgs. So I wanted to present this picture to you to help you understand that we are dealing with highly unevolved entities. We are not dealing with anyone who is actually smart. They only have power because people believe in them. So I think it's time that we believe in ourselves instead. I encourage you to notice all of the places in your consciousness where you don't believe in you, where you might be hesitant to trust yourself. We need to learn to believe in something other than these crazy Weffers. You can start by believing in the natural universe that created all of this planetary beauty. You can start by believing in that which has created all of the stars, the sun, and the moon. And you can definitely believe in the power that created you. These Weffers did not create you. And they don't know anything about you that truly matters. Hey, if they need implanted brain chips in order to know anything at all about people, then they're about as ignorant as it gets. Think of it. If they need for us to implant chips in our brains in order for them to really know about how we are, how we think, and all that good stuff, I mean, you're talking about an incredibly dumb species. I mean, they're really that dumb. And that's what we need to get. We need to get that. Like, you all really need brain chips in people's heads in order to know what's going on with people? Really? So let's start right now with a turning point in our consciousness. Their ignorance has been on full display for this past week. Let that be a sign that it's time for us to get real with ourselves again. If they are so ridiculous as to publicly display their ignorance for all the world to see, then what more do we need to know? I invite you to make that shift in consciousness now, and once we have that clarity, let's see where we can actually go from here. If we can flip this picture and put things in their rightful order, there is no telling what we human beings are actually capable of in this situation. And I think we're capable of an awful lot that we are not really feeling access to because we have this thing flipped around backwards. So I hope what I've shared with you here has really helped you to put this entire situation into a brand new perspective from a cosmic level, from an extraterrestrial level, a real extraterrestrial level, not the goofy one that John Kerry was talking about, but an actual powerful, true extraterrestrial level that, hey, every intelligent being in this universe lives out of that place. This is not new. Like I said in the beginning, yeah, let's focus on disinformation. That's a good idea. I think that's a really good idea. Let's focus on purging all of the disinformation that we have taken on all of our lives. Let's just purge it all out. And you know what we're going to find underneath? We're going to find out underneath it a powerful light of consciousness, of truth, of creatorship, and of the ability to manifest in ways that we maybe never dreamed possible. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else who you think would enjoy a brand new, fresh perspective on what is happening in this world. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell because I am here every Tuesday with all new videos. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste.